Hi, I'm Crystal. Today we're going to make some easy, no-stress masterboards and then cut those down into ephemera for our journals or other projects. So I'm starting with a piece of deli paper that I had protecting my work surface in an earlier project. And since it's kind of thin, I'm attaching that to a base of 8.5 by 11 copy paper. And then I've gone through my pile of scraps and bits to pull out things that are in the same color family. Masterboards certainly don't have to all be brown, but I do find it easier to be successful if I keep my scraps to kind of the same either warm color group or cool color group. So I'm just going to attach the scraps with a mix of glue and matte gel medium. I do like matte gel medium since you can put that on with a spatula from a jar, but my jar is almost empty. And I'm just going to take the bigger pieces and go around the edges and fill in the places that are empty. When I first started out in paper crafting years ago, in the 90s, we called this making serendipity squares. So there's really no limit to what you can attach. I'm using a mix of packing paper and book pages and things cut from magazines and stamps from packages and the wrapper from some disposable chopsticks and old scraps of wrapping paper and whatnot. But there's no rule that says you can't attach ribbon or fabric or sequins or beads. You can alter this in any way that you want. You can stamp or stencil or make marks or whatever you care to do. There's no right or wrong way to do it. So I'm building this masterboard today to meet the challenge for Defemmerimber, which is a month-long challenge in December of every year, hosted by 49 Dragonflies and Louise Heinzel. And it's a fun challenge that asks you to get out your supplies and make some ephemera for your junk journal. So I've enjoyed following along in years past, and I'm looking forward to participating this month and making my own items that address the challenges in this month-long process. So I'm going to link to their channels below if you would like to follow other creators or participate in the challenge. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm continuing to go along on this masterboard and just attach different pieces. Since I've been wrapping holiday packages, I have a lot of tissue paper at hand, and I really like tissue paper on these projects because it adds some 3D element to it. I think that adds a lot of texture and interest to the project. So I'm adding tissue paper in pink and in white. I don't know that the white really shows up on video well, but I think it does add a lot to the project. So once the project looks pretty done to you, you can stop. You can always adjust this later on in the process if you want to. So don't overthink it and don't stress about it. This is meant to just be a quick way to use your scraps and turn them into something else, which really plays into the whole mindset of junk journaling, which is to use what you have and make something beautiful. So I'm just filling in now with a little bit more brown packing paper, a little bit of wrapping paper, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. I may make a few marks with acrylic paint before I go on to cutting it up, but I think we're getting towards the end here. So I'm going to go on and then make another masterboard using cool colors. And you can certainly start with a blank piece of paper if you want, but I pulled a piece of paper out of the bottom of my splat box, and I'm just, again, filling in kind of the more blank or beigey pieces, and I'm using things cut from calendars or from magazines, little bits of leftover scrapbook paper, the offcuts from previous stamping projects. That's what this blue strip is now, is an offcut from a stamping project. The edges of mixed media paper that I inked up for previous projects. I just throw all that in a little bin by the side of my desk as I go along, and perfect use for those scraps of paper. Just use them up. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You just keep attaching things until you feel like it's pretty done, and at any point you can adjust. There are a lot of methods for adjusting this. Just add more layers. You can always save it with another layer. It can be tissue or paper or fabric, stamp, stencil, make marks, or, tone the whole thing down with some white paint or some white tissue paper or some white gesso. So tissue paper is one of my favorite things to use, and again, I'm putting a lot of tissue paper on this version as well, the cool version, because I've got all that holiday tissue paper at hand. Now once I get done with this, building this masterboard, I'm going to turn it into a little bit of ephemera to meet the ephemera bird challenge. So the two challenges for this go round were butterflies and birds. So the butterflies, I cut these out of some sheer fabric. The rest of the fabric is some really cute curtains in my mother's guest room, but I had a scrap that had a bunch of butterflies, and I attached that to 2.5-inch circles cut from the masterboard. And I think that really addresses the challenge and will make cute additions to my journal. And the rest of the masterboard, I used a die to cut into bird shapes for the Salvaged Birds prompt. So I had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope that you'll join us. Thank you for joining me today. Have a good one.